Let's talk about innovation. You hear that word everywhere, right? In business, in tech, it's become this huge buzzword. But what does it actually mean? Today, we're going to peel back the layers and get to the heart of what really drives new ideas, from the spark in the human mind all the way up to the global economy.
So this is the big question, isn't it? We have this romantic idea of a light bulb just flicking on over someone's head, a sudden flash of genius. But the truth? Well, the reality is a whole lot more interesting. It's this fascinating mix of psychology, business strategy, and the environment you're in. We're going to take a journey from the inside out, starting with the innovator's mind.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning, the micro level. Before any company can launch a new product or a country can build a whole new industry, an idea has to spark inside a person's brain. So what's going on in there? What does the psychology of an innovator actually look like?
Well, research points to a few key traits that pop up again and again. First, there's a high openness to experience. This is just a deep, genuine curiosity that makes people connect dots that no one else sees. Then, you've got intrinsic motivation. This is crucial. It's the drive that comes from loving the problem itself, not just chasing a reward. And maybe most importantly, innovators have a tolerance for ambiguity. They're comfortable living in the messy, confusing phase of a project because they know the path to something truly new is never, ever a straight line.
But it's not just about personality. You know, innovation can't always be planned out on a spreadsheet. History is just full of these happy accidents. The most famous example? The Post-it note. That came from a scientist trying to create a super strong glue and failing. The discovery of a weak adhesive was an accident, but the innovation was seeing its hidden potential.
Of course, even the most brilliant person can't do it alone. That little spark of an idea needs oxygen to grow, and in a team, that oxygen is called psychological safety. It's this shared belief that you can throw a crazy idea out there and you won't get shut down or ridiculed. If people are afraid to speak up, some of the best breakthroughs will just never happen.
Okay, so if the right mindset and a safe team are the spark plug, how do organizations build the actual engine? Let's zoom out a bit from the individual mind to what we could call the innovation factory, the company structures that turn those sparks into reality.
First thing to know, not all innovation is created equal. On one side, you've got incremental innovation. This is about making things better, fine-tuning, refining, making things more efficient. Think of a smartphone chip that's just a little bit faster than last year's. But on the other side, you have radical innovation. This is the game changer. It's creating something fundamentally new that didn't exist before, like the invention of the very first smartphone. You absolutely need both.
Now, this has led to a huge shift in how companies operate. For decades, the belief was that to be innovative, you had to invent everything yourself behind closed doors. But the modern way of thinking is what's called open innovation. The idea is simple but so powerful. Hey, there are smart people everywhere, not just in our building. So why not tap into ideas from the outside to make our own work better and faster?
So here's how that flow actually works. First, knowledge flows in. A company might license technology from a startup or partner with a university. Then, they mix that external knowledge with their own internal R&D to create something new. And sometimes, ideas flow out. If a company invents something cool that doesn't fit its main business, it can license that idea to someone else. That way, a good idea doesn't just die on a shelf.
All right, let's zoom out one more time. An innovative person working in an innovative company. That's a great start. But even that company depends on a much, much bigger environment to really thrive. This is the macro level, the innovation ecosystem.
You can think of innovation like a plant. It needs the right conditions to grow. The soil is the healthy market competition that pushes everyone to be better. The water is the funding, the venture capital and grants that ideas need to get off the ground. The sunlight is the talent and knowledge that pours out of a great education system. And you need a fence, strong intellectual property rights to protect the idea while it matures. You need all of it.
And when you get all of those drivers working together, you have what experts call a national innovation system. It's not a single place or organization. It's this huge interconnected web of companies, universities, and government all playing a part, sometimes on purpose, sometimes by accident, to create and spread new technologies.
And in this system, everybody has a job. Firms are the ones focused on turning ideas into actual products you can buy. Universities are doing the deep, fundamental research and, of course, training the next generation of innovators. And government sets the rules of the road and often funds that super early-stage risky research that private companies might not touch. No one part can do it all. They all depend on each other.
So we've gone from a thought in someone's head to a team in a company, all the way out to the entire nation. Which brings us to the biggest question of all. So what? Why does this actually matter? What's the real impact on all of our lives?
Well, one way to see it is with this idea of the technology S-curve. Basically, any new technology starts out slow, then performance improves really, really fast, but eventually it starts to hit its natural limits, and it plateaus. Think of the gasoline engine. That plateau is the signal. It's the moment when an opportunity opens up for a brand new technology, like the electric motor, to come in and start a whole new S-curve. These radical innovations are what drive long-term growth.
And you can see the economic impact plain as day. The data from countless studies is crystal clear. Firms that consistently innovate just do better, period. They have higher sales growth, they're more profitable, they just outperform their competitors. At the end of the day, innovation isn't just a feel-good thing. It's a massive competitive advantage.
And this success isn't just about luck. There's a powerful, measurable connection between investment and results. The data shows a really strong positive correlation. Companies and countries that spend more on research and development simply produce more innovations and more patents. That investment directly fuels their growth.
But, and this is a really important but, we have to look at both sides of the coin. The benefits are incredible, right? Medical breakthroughs, clean energy, access to education. But innovation is also disruptive by nature. The economist Joseph Schumpeter had a famous term for it: creative destruction. As new industries are born, old ones often fade away, and that can mean job losses and a real need for people and societies to adapt.
And that really leaves us right here. From a single neuron firing in a curious mind, to a team that feels safe enough to share a wild idea, to an entire society that decides to invest in its future, innovation is how we write the next chapter of the human story. The only question is, what will we choose to build next?